It is a great honor and privilege that I address you at this African Prosperity Dialogue 2025, a forum that has brought together leaders and experts dedicated to shaping the future of our great continent. And so let me commend the organizers and all those who put this great program together, because as I've been well informed, this event seeks to bring together different shades of opinion to discuss and chart a pathway towards lifting Africa out of poverty. Today, my duty is to explore the energy sector, particularly in Africa, by touching on the aspect of ensuring that we have reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy for economic growth, not just in Ghana, but in Africa. Energy consumption, as you may be aware, is generally considered an important economic accelerator, giving a significant contribution to societal development and living conditions. Notwithstanding this reality, however, the energy supply needs of Africa continues to pose a major challenge, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. Indeed, energy supply in sub-Saharan Africa has remained insufficient, posing a great challenge towards the subcontinent's quest to achieve accelerated economic growth. Available data so far shows that about 600 million people in Africa do not have access to electricity, with another 900 million lacking access to clean cooking. The situation is even more disturbing for sub-Saharan Africa, where just about 48% of the population have access to electricity, compared to 99% in Asia and 100% in North Africa. Indeed, some African countries have just about 11% of their population having access to electricity. This creates a significant challenge and an imbalance. When you look at electricity consumption per kilowatt hour, Africa consumes about 1.5% of what United States consume, and about 3% of what Europe consumes. And when you take South Africa out, the data is even more frightening. Despite the continent's abundant renewable energy resources, sub-Saharan Africa continues to struggle with renewable energy consumption, with approximately 80% of our energy sources emanating from non-renewable or fossil-based fuel, as compared to the global average of 60%. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an undeniable fact that the African continent cannot be left behind in the quest to secure the provision of reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy sources. This is the only surest way that the continent can lift itself out of poverty, achieve accelerated economic growth, and more importantly, achieve inclusive economic growth. Faced with these challenges, the United Nations has incorporated the attainment of adequate, reliable, and sustainable energy sources in its SDGs. Specifically, Sustainable Development Goal 7 aims at ensuring that the world achieves access to clean and affordable energy. In addition to that, the African Union has positioned energy development and its consumption at the core of its development agenda, aiming to ensure that the continent achieves access to reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy by 2063. The energy deficit of sub-Saharan Africa can partly be attributed to the relatively high cost of energy-related investments, which poses as one of the biggest challenges towards the continent achieving its energy needs. For instance, it is estimated that the continent will require between 43 to 55 billion United States dollars in energy-related investments annually until 2040. However, the stark reality is that the continent is able to mobilize just about 9 billion, leaving a huge deficit in terms of the funding gap required to attain universal access to electricity and sustainable energy sources. This therefore underscores the fact that the public sector or government alone cannot achieve this objective. It is therefore imperative that African heads of states adopt a paradigm shift and partner with the private sector, NGOs, development organizations to ensure that we take full advantage of the continent's rich energy resources to achieve affordable and sustainable energy, even as we go through the energy transition. It also calls for proper and timely planning to support decision-making, which is key at meeting the objectives in terms of energy sourcing, distribution, storage, and consumption. I am confident that this forum would serve as a platform for collaborative work for us to identify innovative and pragmatic ways towards achieving these objectives and targets. For us in Ghana, the strategic use of energy to power industrialization is fully aligned with the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. By doing so, Ghana positions itself as a leading hub for value addition and intra-continental trade within the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, Ghana is committed to leading Africa's energy transition whilst advancing sustainable development. Under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we are committed to embarking on a progressive path towards ensuring that we achieve renewable and sustainable energy, not just for Ghana, but for Ghana to serve as a reliable hub for the entire West African sub-region. We are also committed to invest in energy to make the light stay on as the foundation pillar to power our policy of a 24-hour economy, which we are committed at achieving. Ghana stands tall when it comes to electricity access in sub-Saharan Africa. Ghana's access rate stands at about 90%. And if you take sub-Saharan African countries, we are either second or third when it comes to electricity access. We are going to prioritize renewable energy as part of our energy transition by focusing on solar, wind, mini hydro, waste to energy, and other renewable sources in order for the continent, and Ghana in particular, to meet its energy needs and requirements. In Ghana, our policy seeks to achieve an optimal energy mix that addresses both immediate and future needs. To achieve this, we intend to deepen and ensure that we achieve total gas to power era. Already, about 80% of our thermal fuel needs is achieved with natural gas. And with what we are pursuing, we are confident that we shall achieve 100% gas to power when it comes to energy consumption. We also want to accelerate renewable energy consumption both on and off-grid, as well as promoting energy efficiency to reduce wastage and ensure that we achieve overall benefit from the energy that we produce and consume. A successful energy transition hinges on the availability of skilled labor and expertise. And for this reason, Ghana is prioritizing the development of its human resources through targeted training and providing lifeblood of Africa's single market. And it could potentially provide the cheapest source of power which is needed for industrialization. And 100 megawatts of energy is quite huge when it comes to Africa. Our dialogues here must focus on actionable solutions rather than the traditionally well-documented approach of talking about the already known challenges. Ghana believes in leveraging regional partnerships to tackle Africa's fragmented energy landscape. Through the West African Power Pool, we are determined to strengthen cross-border energy trade and infrastructure. And for those of you who are not in West Africa, we have what we call the West African Power Pool, where all our grids are interconnected and upgraded to the 330 kVA line and the 270 kVA line to ensure that we trade energy amongst ourselves. And so far, Ghana supplies energy to Benin, to Burkina, to Cote d'Ivoire, to Togo, and sometimes we also take energy from Cote d'Ivoire. And so that underscores the rationale behind what we call the West African Power Pool, which will provide us with the avenue and a common platform to exchange and sell electricity and power amongst ourselves. Like I stated earlier, access to capital remains one of the most significant obstacles to energy development across Africa. To address this challenge, Ghana is spearheading efforts to prioritize self-funding, private sector involvement, and tapping into other green bonds and regional trade initiatives in order to address this challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama announced his government's intention to establish a renewable energy investment and green transition fund at the just ended Africa Energy Summit in Tanzania, to be specific, Dar es Salaam. This fund needs, but would also ensure for a vibrant and self-reliant energy ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, achieving reliable and affordable energy, as well as sustainable energy in Africa, demands unity, innovation, and unwavering commitment. By responsibly leveraging our natural resources,